Hello, 1, 2. You can hear me? Great stuff. Hi, Nick. Just going to give it a couple of minutes before everybody joins. Hi, everyone. So I'm just talking at the moment, just for a couple of minutes, just until a couple more people are joining. We'll kick off in a couple of minutes. But yeah, what I've done is I've put everybody on mute immediately. Just mainly because it will just mean that it will just be easier for everybody. Just I can take loads of questions at the end, and we can all chat through it. But yeah, clearly I'm self-isolating in space at the moment, so welcome. And yeah, I can see a few more people are joining, so I will start. Sharing my screen with you all. So here we are, Facebook advertising for comedy, and this is going to be just a short kind of webinar about really getting the most out of your posts and getting the most out of your your Facebook posts. One thing that I would recommend as a prerequisite for this advice is going to be based around Facebook pages. Oh, you can't hear me, Jojo? No, can't hear me. Okay, let me just have a look. Bum, bum. Can everybody hear me now? Let me know if you can't hear me, or let me know if you can hear me. Great, brilliant, excellent, great stuff. Well, crack on then. That's brilliant. But yeah, thanks for everyone for joining. I felt like with the current situation with everybody self-isolating and consequently kind of going a little bit mad, I thought it'd be the ideal opportunity now to help out everybody in the comedy community, because I know that whilst gigs aren't happening at the moment, there are still opportunities to promote things, whether it's kind of promoting yourself, promoting your videos, promoting kind of funny images or jokes that you want to share via your Facebook page. So what I thought I'd do is I thought that I'd go through that really. So what we're going to be talking about today is it's pretty basic introductory level. We're going to be talking about how to boost a post on Facebook. So that's based on having a Facebook page, not a personal Facebook profile. Although in future, what I can do is I can offer up more sessions on more free sessions on, setting up a Facebook page. So it's how to boost a post on Facebook. Targeting, which is really the most important element of it. So we're going to be looking at really the smart bits, the secret sauce really of how Facebook advertising can work for you. So we can look at cool things like how you can market and promote to people based on very specific locations. We can also look at how and target people according to certain demographics, which is interesting, and also slightly dark, because you start to realize how much information that you've been inputting into Facebook over the past 15 years or so. And likewise for interests. So say, for example, if you want to market to people who are based in Dublin, who are kind of English expats who have an interest in croquet, I think you might want to, then I'll be able to show you how to do that. And finally, what I'll also be doing is also doing something that's quite important, because the number one question that I tend to get when people ask me for advice on social media posts is, okay, if I spend this much, what will I get? Will I get this many clicks? Will I get this many people coming through to this profile? My profile, will I get this much? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share, I'm going to show you how I calculate these investments, how I kind of calculate, and how really I can show you kind of a quick formula for how you can calculate a return on your post. So you can go, right, if I spend this much, then I'll get that much in return. So I'll be showing you a table that I've created, and also I'll be showing you something else that not many people really talk about too much, and that's how much per like, per comment, per click, or per share everything kind of costs on Facebook. So really you can work out really on a budgetary scale whether you're investing £5 or £10 on boosting a post, all the way, or £5,000 on a whole campaign. I certainly don't have that sort of money, because I'm not Daddy Warbucks. But if you want to do that, I can show you how to do that really effectively. Okay, so first of all, I thought I'd kick off with a little bit of chat about why we share. And this is the reason I think this is interesting, is because this information comes from a survey of around about 250,000 New York Times website visitors. And it's really about why people choose to share stuff to social media. And this is in order. And the number one is the top one, really, and the one that I think is most relevant to, that I think is most relevant to you guys, and that is to delight others with valuable and entertaining content, which is really just a kind of quite a highfalutin way of making people smile and making people laugh, really, with funny jokes and good content. That's really the upshot of it. Yes, people do it to identify and present themselves to others, to foster relationships, for self-fulfillment, spreading the word about issues, products, or brands. But really the one that I think that we're going to be focusing on today is yes, we want to get people to kind of come and see you when you're in a town, come and see you do your set. If you're performing say a Just a Tonic in Nottingham, or you're doing a full hour show at a international comedy festival of some kind, when everything starts back up again. So really, like I said, main reason is to delight others with valuable and entertaining content. So make people smile, really. And that's something we need at times like now. So Interesting. I will just a quick note. I will be sharing the notes from this. I'll be sharing this little presentation because it's got a few links in it, and I will also be sending across the spreadsheet that I'm going to be using as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about best practice now. So really about the ideal length for a Facebook post. So what I've done is I've set up a post here in my Ben Stroud social media consultant page, which is loading. This is always really useful, isn't it? I love it when stuff like this happens. So let me just get this page up. And here we go. So I've created a post here. Save it in draft. There we go. So I've created a post here on this page, and this is really the ideal length for a Facebook post that would be promoting your show. And there's a little inspirational image of someone climbing a mountain rather stupidly without any safety gear. But anyway, so that's the ideal length of a post. But how long is that length of that post? I hear you ask. Well, the ideal post length for a Facebook post is around about 70 to 100 words. 70 to 100 characters, excuse me. So, yep, 70 to 100 characters. So when you're looking at that, that's actually not very long. It doesn't feel very long, does it? So what we're actually looking at is quite a short, quite a punchy little piece of text. And if you ever have any kind of doubts around that, or you want to kind of just do a quick kind of character count on this, oh, you couldn't see the image post. Sorry, apologies about that. I will fix that. Okay, so this post here, let me share this. So there we go. You should be able to see that now. This is the ideal length of a post that you are going to, let me just close that. This is around about the ideal length for a Facebook post promoting your show. So that's literally around about 74 characters. It's not very much. It doesn't seem like very much to play with, but it is actually pretty decent when you take into account the other elements or the other more powerful things that I'm going to talk to you about with regards to boosting and adding links into it. It does seem quite restrictive, but I think the best way to probably kind of remember it or think about it is that the majority of people who are going to be visiting your page or seeing this post on Facebook are going to be doing it via mobile. So nice, short, punchy update with an image or a video, and then I'll show you shortly how you can actually basically, I'm getting used to Zoom. Sorry, Zoom's. I've used it for very, very boring calls, but I haven't actually used it for webinars before. So you have to excuse me. So basically, yeah. So you'll be using it. You know, you can add links in at a later date, and I'll show you how to do that. So if we go back to this page here, so there is good news. Previously with Facebook, there used to be a text limit on posters and flyers that you were able to upload to and promote via Post Boost on your Facebook page. So Facebook back in 2016, they removed that limit. So now there's absolutely no upper limit on the amount of, there's no capping on the amount of text that you can have on an image. you know, for example, I think the most relevant example would be, say, a flyer for your festival. But the more text you include on a post, the fewer people you'll reach. So Facebook are trying to reduce, prevent people from stuffing loads of information that they wouldn't put it at the top in a status update, essentially into, an image. So say if someone, prints off a whole, tries to squeeze, the complete works of William Shakespeare into one post, Facebook will ensure that reaches as few people as possible. What I've included in one of this in this slide, which I'll obviously send around, is a text overlay tool. So say if you get from a club that you're playing at, or from somebody who's designing your flyers for a festival, you want to check and see if it's good for uploading to Facebook. What I've done is I've included a text overlay tool, so you can upload the video to Facebook. You can upload the image to Facebook, and what that will do is it will tell you via a traffic light system, red, amber, green, just how good the actual text, just how good the actual flyer is. So yeah, okie dokie. Oh, thank you, thanks, JJ. So I feel like I'm doing one of those Twitch streams a little bit, only it's a very, very boring Twitch stream where someone talks a lot about analytics. But I'm glad, and I hope it's useful. Anyway, video posts are the most engaging. So this is a kind of a nice little tip. I think they're up to 74% more engaging than just a visual post. So, and the ideal length, and really this plays perfectly, I think, into kind of your guys' medium. The ideal length of a video on Facebook is around about 3 to 5 minutes. So, if you've got a bit that you want to share, or a sketch that you want to share, you're really hitting the sweet spot. If it's between 3 to 5 minutes, that's when you're kind of ultimately probably guaranteed to get as many eyes on it as possible. Images and questions also generate large amounts of engagement. So if you're asking your audience something, that's always a good thing to do. If you kind of just ask a simple question, or just ask for some feedback. The great thing about hecklers on Facebook pages is if they say anything annoying, you could just fucking scrub them out, delete and ban. So it's brilliant. So you can be your own doorman like that. So that's pretty good. So yeah, images and questions generate large amounts of engagement. So now what I'm going to move on to is one of my is really kind of the best bit of this for me, is defining your audience. So this will vary, and just to be clear, this will vary across everybody. Everybody will have a different target audience. Everybody has different demographics or interests or things that people like, or you look out at your crowd during a set or during a show at a festival, and you start to really get an idea of what your kind of demographic is, and what your and what your crowd is. You can find all that information on Facebook, and that's really useful. Once again, like I said, it's almost slightly creepy how much information they have on you, but hey, if it helps us all sell a few more tickets, then that's okay, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through this actually in real time. So I'm going to pull up one of my posts, and I'm going to talk you through how to boost it. So just a second here, let me share this. There we are. Made that clicking noise I always make with my mouth. So you should be able to see my page here. You should see the post, Ben Stroud, social media consultant. And what we're going to do now is we are going to boost this post. So there we are. Post length there, about the ideal length for a Facebook post promoting a show. And when you scroll down to the bottom of your page here, you should see like, comment, share, and you should see this little option here called boost post. And that's the one that we're interested in. So if you take a look at that now, this should pull up, this should start to pull up a really, let me just reload this page. I'll reload this page because clearly it started to struggle a little bit. Let me just try this again. Sorry about this, guys. The frustrating thing about, oh, here we are. And it says, then it says, expect delays due to coronavirus. I'm not buying this. I've had my computer tested, and as far as I'm concerned, it's absolutely fine. So, yeah, we're just reloading at the moment. But whilst we're doing that, I just want to kind of thank everybody for taking the time out of their Sunday to come along and watch this. It's I hope it's helpful, and I hope that we get what we want out of it. So let's have a look. Okay, so what I'll do is I will try to go back into this. Okay, should be able to load back up now. If not, I'll just hop onto a different browser. It's not too much of a problem. That's how rock and roll I am. Let me just get Okie dokie. Just a second. I'm just going to switch across to another form of. There we are. That should be helpful. I was just switched across to another kind of internet connection here because I mean that makes me sound like I work in the Pentagon, but I don't. Everything's been a bit slow here, so sorry about that. Please bear with me. Hello everybody. I am very sorry for your delays there. Few technical issues there with the internet connection, which is always great. But hopefully you can see me and we're all back in the same place now. I'm just getting my little test page up, and then what we will do is I will be able to show you what we do with a Facebook video. Yeah, it's it's 100%. 5G is fucking with everything. My day job is working for a mobile phone company, so I'm currently under pretty much constant attack from the 5G brigade. Yeah, and I blame Carol Baskin as well, Robin. Yeah, she's responsible for this. So hello, cats and kittens. Oh, come on. Well, this is deeply frustrating. Just trying another internet connection. Should be coming back through soon. Here we are. I think my page is back up. I think the actual thing that I want to look at might be back. There we go. Can everyone hear me okay? Great. Okay. So I'll just put us back onto screen share now. Now, if you remember where we are, where we were talking about best ways to boost a post. And the first one was that we were talking about demographics. So what I've got here is my page. And if we scroll down, this post here is the one that we're going to be boosting today. So it's about so as it said, nice and short, this post is about the ideal length for a Facebook post promoting your show. And it says here, boost post. So you scroll down, you see like, comment, share, and then this little button here called boost post. There we go. So this is a really, really simple tool here that will help you to really make the most out of, reaching people and getting many people across as humanly possible. Just heard that I might have a question there. But yeah, so great stuff. Okay, no, all good. Sorry about that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to crack on, and then what I'll do is I'll deal with questions afterwards. As you can see the post here, we can see this post. You can see it in a variety of different formats. So that's how someone would see the post in desktop. This is how someone would see it on their mobile. So you can just check all those sort of things. I'll show you how to do those cool little badges as well. Your post can also be shared across to Instagram. That's a story for another time. But I will certainly pick up and do some Instagram training with everybody if they want to see that. But what we do now is we start with desktop newsfeed. So you look at this and you go, right, okay, what results would you like to get from this post? Get more people to react, comment, and share. That's really post engagement, but that also includes people clicking on a link as well. So an engagement on Facebook is really any interaction on a post. So it's a like, a comment, a share, a click, or even someone just clicking on the general area of the post. So if someone highlights a piece of text on your post, for example, then that would also count as an engagement on a post. As you can see down here, you can change your buttons to shop now, book now, learn more, sign up, send a message, or send WhatsApp message. Although if you want anybody WhatsApp messaging you randomly off an ad in Facebook, that's not something I'd particularly recommend. Now down here, once you have your little button, you can change that link there to whatever you want it to be. So for example, if I was to change it to a useful website that I've heard of called www, this is top tip, www.google.com, really good website. I recommend everyone check it out. What that will then do is that will then change the link in your image at the bottom there, so that then people will be able to click on that and then go through to that website. But yeah, google.com, make sure you bookmark that one. So audience, this is really the bit that we're here for, an audience that you choose through targeting. So what we have is we have a very, very basic audience, which is the default audience for boosting posts, which is people in the UK, people in England, and it says England, it will change to Scotland, depending on wherever you're located, aged between 18 and 65 plus, which I think is the ultimately the youngest that you can target for ads, and also kind of the oldest demographic. You can target to people in your local area, but my favorite one is you can create new audiences or so what we'll look at here is we look at creating a new audience. So you click on this, create new audience, and then what you can do is you can name this audience. Now, the great thing about this part of it is that you can really look at your audience and you can start to, create a number of different saved audiences. So say, for example, if I wanted to target an audience within Edinburgh. So we would look at this, and I would go Ben Stroud, audience, Edinburgh, and watch me mangle the spelling of it. So that's good. Following that, gender. So these are the three options that are available. It doesn't have the whole kind of, spectrum. It's very simple. It's either everybody, male or female. And then you can swap the age to anything between, you can go down to, I think marketing to 13-year-olds really would be a bit much. But yeah, you can go all the way down to 13, which is the age that you're legally allowed to join Facebook. And then you have everyone up to 65 plus. Now, this is the first bit, locations. This is the bit that I kind of really like. Now, with locations, you can be very, very hyper specific with these. So you can actually target to within around about 5 kilometers of the place that you're looking to play. So say, for example, I've got a show and it's going to be not in England, but it's going to be in, you remove England. Okay, so Scotland. So there we are, Edinburgh, Scotland, United Kingdom. Get rid of England. Can't get rid of England. There we are. England always trying to. But this is the cool bit with this. So what you can do is you can, using this little button here and this little map, you can zero in on the precise place within Edinburgh or within the local area that you actually want to promote and perform in. So yeah, so you should be able to see that now. Sorry, I just lost that. Know exactly what my problem is. I get easily distracted. So Ben's sample audience, Edinburgh. There we are. Thank you, MacBook. So what I want to do is I want to target everybody, men and women, and say between the ages of 18, and let's just say the upper limit for this one will be 60. I just picked that out of the air, so please don't accuse me of anything. So what we will do now is we will look to add Edinburgh. So you type in Edinburgh, and there we go. And then you have this little tip here where you can start to either target only the current city, so only within the Edinburgh region. So if you're playing a show in Edinburgh, you can target it to basically a radius that anything between, the minimum you can do it is 17 kilometers. So you can target anyone within a 17-kilometer radius. And the maximum you can do using this targeting system is 80 kilometers. So that will cover quite a few. But you can literally do that anywhere. So say, for example, let's just go to somewhere else. I can do drop center map, and then I'll go drop pin. Let's zoom into So say after, say for example, after my Edinburgh show, I was going to play a show in Buxton. I would be able to drop my pin there and it would show up, and I would be able to say, okay, I'd like to target people who live within 10 kilometers. It's changing for some reason. I think it's because when you actually do it via coordinates, which is how Facebook does it when you drop a pin, it changes the parameters somewhat for how you can actually log in and do things. So you can target really anything from 1 to 80 kilometers, but if it's a specific city, then what it does is it kind of limits it somewhat. So if you're looking to drop a pin, so you're looking for a specific place, you can target anyone from between 1 kilometer to 80 kilometers radius. If you're doing it on a city, then it will allow you to do between 17 to 80 if you're going on the current city only. So I have chosen Edinburgh, Scotland, and now we can actually do what is probably my favorite bit. Now, interestingly enough, in true Blue Peter style, I have one that I've made earlier. So here is Ben's basic audience. Now, the great thing about detailed targeting is you can start targeting people via their interests, demographics, and behaviors. And the great thing about this is that all of this information is on autocomplete. So if you start writing in this little bottom tab here, detailed targeting, you put comedian. You would start to bring up suggestions that aren't already here. So stand-up comedian would be here under interests. Top tip for this: if you don't want to market to, be very careful when you're entering comedian into Facebook or stand-up comedy, because if you look here on the right-hand side under stand-up comedian, you have job titles there. So if you click that one instead of stand-up comedian or comedy interests, then what you'll end up doing is you'll end up marketing to other stand-up comedians rather than people who are, or as well as people who are interested in comedy. But what you can start doing with this is you can start being really smart with your targeting. So say, for example, if you want to, if you feel like your humor would appeal to fans of John Bishop, you can click on that. You can add John Bishop to that, so that would be an additional interest. And then what you can do is you can start building out all of these all of these little interests that people have. This is information that people have given to Facebook, and you will be able to start to narrow down your audience. So at this moment in time, for my audience here, I've got England, and between 18 and 65, and all genders. But if you see there, it says my audience size at the bottom. It says is defined, and that I'm doing a great job, which is always nice to hear. Facebook, thank you very much. But if I narrow this down, so between 18 and 50, what you'll notice is that number starts to go down. Now, the trick with this is to try and keep this little arrow here in and around the middle of this. So if it goes too broad, that means you're reaching everybody and you won't be getting good value for money. If you go too much into the red, what that starts to mean is that you won't really be kind of reaching enough people to make your advert viable. So if I start targeting, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start playing around with this a little bit, and show you how that number goes down if, say, we select a city such as, if we drop a pin somewhere. So let's just go randomly for Devizes. So let's look at people within 5 kilometers of Devizes who are aged between 18 and 50. They like John Bishop. They like comedians. They like comedy clubs. They like comedy shows. They like Edinburgh Festival Fringe, humour, laughter, Soho Theatre. You can type in all sorts of theatres and that information will come up. Although for the purposes of Devizes, we might want to get rid of that one. But you can look at how many people we have in this audience here. So here we have a very specific audience of around about 1,000 people in and around 5 kilometers of Devizes who are really interested in those things. And you can obviously kind of push that up to as much as anything really. And that number will kind of start to change. But the next bit that we're going to do is we're going to look at some more. So once we have these ones, what I've done is I've created in my little PowerPoint a starter list of the best ones for you to use on Facebook. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start thinking, okay, start browsing and see what other ones I can add to really start to define this post. So we look at demographics. You can go and you can really get a wealth of additional information on people. So, and like I said, some of it does feel like too much information. So you can target people on their educational level. So school, university, essentially kind of, you know, what they did. You can even target people on their fields of study and schools and universities. You can also target people. Actually, no, that's the one that you're only allowed to do in the US, which is okay. We can target people according to their life events. So if they have any life events coming up, so say if they have an anniversary, so like a wedding anniversary, or you know, an anniversary of getting engaged or having a baby, you can actually target that anniversary to within around about 30 days or 31 to 60 days. So say for example, if you want to, if you're running a night and you want to offer a discount code for, you know, people who are, you know, either, you know, newlyweds or newly engaged, or people who've recently moved into the area, those are the sort of things you can start to kind of target people based upon. You can also look at, say for example, you're looking at doing sort of newborn comedy, or you're looking for doing kind of, you know, a mother and baby or a parent and baby comedy night. You can start to look at new parents there. You can start to target new parents, parents with preschoolers and so on and so forth, parents with toddlers. Target people based on relation statuses. So if you want to target all the people who have It's Complicated as their Facebook status update and have them come along to a gig, because that should be an absolute hoot, then you can do that. But there are all sorts of relationship statuses there. And then work's an interesting one as well. So you can target people actually according to their employers. So say, for example, if you want to target people, you know, if you want to do a fundraiser, or if you want to put on a show for people who work at Tesco, or Sainsbury's. You want to target people who work at Sainsbury's, then you can do that as well. So you can be very specific with who you're actually targeting, and you can be also kind of target people in specific industries. So those are the demographics there. Then you have interests. Now, for purposes of this, we can go to entertainment. you can start to look at live events and see the sort of things that people will be interested in. So you have, just off the top of my head here, you can see live event, you can see people bars, people like to drink at comedy clubs, concerts, so people who generally like live events. You can select individual ones of those, or you can just, you can select individual ones of those, whichever ones that kind of suit you really. You can also select based upon television programs that they like. So TV comedies, TV game shows, TV chat shows. So if people like watching comedy on TV and you want to entice them out to take a show. Also as well, rather interestingly, if you go to the suggestions box here, you can see other things that people who have entered in all of these little functions here, what other things that they're interested in too. So you can see Jimmy Carr, Jason Manford, Peter Kay, Mickey Flanagan, so on and so forth, stage theatre, Asda, because I put Sainsbury's, and yeah, just stuff like that. You can even target it to include, say, 8 out of 10 cats or something like that. So specific TV shows. And then when you go down to behaviors, this is where it's interesting, because say, for example, if you have an anniversary within 61 to 90 days, wedding anniversary, any kind of anniversary, you can actually look at that and set that information. Consumer classification is one that you can't use because that's not actually legal here in the UK. And then you have digital activity. So it's whether people use all sorts of kind of different things. So you can target people even based on their internet browser or their email domain. So that's all kind of fairly interesting stuff. But the one that I really like, the ones that I really like, or I think might be useful, if you're going to a gig abroad or you're going to be gigging abroad, you can target expats. So say if you're going to be playing a gig on the Costa del Sol, you will be able to target people who lived in the UK, who were, let's find it. So people who were living in the United Kingdom, or people who used to live in the United Kingdom. It's one of these. But yeah, you should be able to find it if you look through it. But you should be able to target people based upon where they live. So say, for example, you wanted to target Irish expats who live in the Costa del Sol for a show that you're doing, you would be able to do that. You would also be able to do it for the UK. At this moment, I'm scrolling through it and looking at it, and I can't see it, but I saw it earlier. So take my word for it, it's definitely there. So that's an interesting one. So that's good for if you're playing any shows abroad. Behaviors. So if I just get one more here, mobile device users, multicultural affinity. That one, thankfully, is not legal over here. I don't. That's particularly, spooky one to use. This one is a key one for me. If you have an event or you have a show that you're wanting to promote, this actually targets people's purchasing behavior. So these are the sort of people who are interested in upcoming events. So these are the sort of people who engage on a daily basis with Facebook and actually engage on and interested in, say, upcoming events. So you would look at that one, and then purchase behavior as well. So with regards to purchase behaviors, you can actually pick engaged shoppers as well. So those are people who actively buy stuff online. You can really target anything, really. There is actually so much here. You can even target people who are with returned from traveling a week ago, returned from traveling 2 weeks ago. Really, there are thousands upon thousands of behaviors. I've just given quite a broad overview of them that I hope is quite useful. So all that remains is I've created an advert here. for people who are within 62 kilometers of Devizes. They are interested in upcoming events. They are engaged shoppers, so people who have responded to online shopping quotes. They work for Sainsbury's. You can do that. So they are employed by Sainsbury's. They like John Bishop. They like comedians. They like comedy clubs, comedy shows, Edinburgh Festival, humour, laughter, and stand-up comedy. My audience is broad. No, my audience is defined here. So what I can do is I can then save that audience. And then go to the boost post section. And really what that will do is that will just take you through to kind of a payment channel, and you can decide how much you want to actually spend on it, which is what I'm coming to now. Now, this is a good bit. So everybody always asks me how much Facebook advertising costs per click, roughly. Now, the post that we're actually doing is an engagement-based post. So it's these ones here. Now, this here is my little list, which I'll be sending around to you, a paid social media planner template of all of the information and all of the costs that are associated per click with a Facebook advertisement. So if I just click on, let me just highlight this one, for example. So there we are. So we're looking at engagement here, people clicking on a post. Now, each click on a post will cost around about it costs around about 1p. So you're looking at around about 1 pence per post. And what you can do, and what I've got here, is a little template that you can use where you can actually calculate. I'll just clear all this stuff out. You can actually calculate how much of money really it will cost and how many people you'll be able to reach. So here we are. So we've got product brand, comedy, and then you've got creative. You just put image. You don't even need to put this stuff. Objective will get people to turn up really. So you're looking at clicks or ticket purchases, rocket purchases, ticket purchases. This is optional, really. This is where you can put your targeting and you can really kind of keep a note of it. Placement, so that's where your adverts are going to go. So in this case, it will be Facebook only for now. Start date, you will be able to pick a date. So let's see, April. So let's see, April the 7th, and it will end on Yeah, I love a spreadsheet as well, Susan. It will end on April the 12th. Little buying metric will be cost per engagement. And if I go to this little page here, the metric cost, or the amount it will cost per engagement, is 0.01 pence. Now, I'll just put that information in here. And then at the end, and then you've got a little bit here called CPM. That says cost per mil. So that's a cost per 1,000 people. So that's how much it will cost roughly per 1,000 clicks. So if I go back to this little page here, that's around about £4.50. I'll go down, pop that back into my template. Okay. And then this is the important bit here. This is how much it's going to cost. This bit here, this is how much you're actually going to spend. So that really depends on how much budget you have. So it's completely variable in that sense. So let's say, for example, you're looking at this and you're looking at estimated click-through rate, which is estimated CTR, click-through rate. It's around about 30. So if I pop that information in there, it was 0.30. I know this looks really geeky, But it's one of those bits that really, really helps out when, no matter how much money you're looking to invest in Facebook advertising, it just helps because then you'll actually have an idea of how much you're going to be, you need to spend to reach, however many people. Then that will give you an estimated number of link clicks there. So I've made loads of little formulas there, which is helpful. So all you really need to do once you've input the metric costs, estimated CPM, and estimated CTR, all you need to do then is say, for example, let's just say I'm going to put 100 quid on a post. There we go. As if by magic, you will start to see how many people this post will start to reach. So you'll look at that and you will start to go, right, okay, so I should be looking at around about 22,000 additional impressions, an additional 67 or so link clicks, and so on and so forth. So you can start to get an idea of how many people you're going to be reaching for that actual kind of, that actual sort of cost. That's just a rough number. That's a number that's based that can really vary. Sometimes posts really take off, or sometimes they don't. But yeah, that's a handy little calculation. So this little paid social planner template is there for everybody, and what you can do, it's got a little planner here, so you can say plan all of your social media campaigns if you're going to do them, keep a track of them and how much you've actually spent, so it's like a little budget, and then you can actually kind of keep track here as well. So, but this is the most important thing. This will tell you how much roughly you spend per post, really. So yeah, so that's the main element of it. Well, I'll just head back to my presentation now. I hope this has been helpful. I will be sharing all of this information with you. This is a starter pack that I've put up for boosting posts. These are all the interests that you'll need to start with if you're looking to target. And all that remains really is for me to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I really appreciate it. I hope that it's helpful. And really, I'd like to open the floor to any questions, really, for the next couple of minutes or so. Great. No problem at all. So, Philip, you've raised your hand. So, yep. What's your question? Oh, just sharing an image of a post. Couldn't see it. Oh, I think I've done that actually. There we go. Okay. So if anyone has any questions even now or later, I'm really happy to take them. But, oh, hello, Susan. Go for it. What's your question? Just go ahead and I'm still getting the hang of webinars, so you'll have to excuse me somewhat if I'm doing this. It's got a little option here which says allow to talk, which I think is always quite funny. So, okay, Susan. Hello, how are you doing? You're right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Can people hear me?
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, this is so exciting. When would you start boosting posts before an event, Ben?
It depends really. I know that's one of those really, really kind of shitty how long is a piece of string answers. But I would say if you're kind of, say for example, kind of planning a tour or kind of a larger show, or even if you know you kind of calendar quite a way in advance, which I know kind of quite a few of you do when everything's kind of normal and up and running, I would say allow for a minimum of kind of 2 weeks. A minimum of 2 weeks before. But it's, say for example, if you're doing a show for a comedy festival, I would recommend running the ads for around about a month leading up to it.
Excellent.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Is that all good?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's brilliant. Thank you. This has been really great. I have to go now because I've got an ant infestation in my pantry.
Oh,
so,
God.
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to have to go and deal with that just now before the
go and sort your ants out.
lentils.
All right, great. See you later, Susan.
That was great. Thank you, Ben.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Great. Does anybody else have any questions? Let me just get that. Okay, got some more here. Is there from Philip Simon, is there benefit in posting videos on pages and then sharing with groups or our own profiles rather than boosting? Yes, definitely. Every little helps with regards to that. The more that you can be sharing and the more you can be really boosting, the better. So every little helps. Send it on to your friends, send it on to your family, send it on to your fans. If those are all of the questions, if you can think of anything else afterwards, then please let me know. I would be 100% happy to answer them. So it's a goodbye from me. Don't forget, if possible, if you just feel like it, pop across to my Facebook page, Ben Stroud, social media consultant, and write a nice review and say that I didn't stammer or fall over my words once, and I was able to form sentences like a big boy. So anyway, that's it from me. Take care. I hope you find this useful. If you guys find this useful, I'll keep on doing them. But from me, Ben, saying goodbye to all of you out there. Take care of yourselves, and most importantly, stay safe. All right. Take care, guys, and I will see you later.